Never had a whole lot to do with Grandpa Case. They never lived close to us like Grandpa Meade did. The one thing I remember that I thought was funny about Grandpa Case, I was at school one day and noon hour was on and we kids were outside playing, and the road at that time was right along the creek, not where it is now. And Grandpa come riding a horse up the creek. Stopped in front of the school and got off the horse and got down, got something off the ground, got back up on the horse. And I said, "What'd you find, Grandpa?" And he said, "A new nail." Didn't waste nothing. He got off the horse to get the new nail he saw on the ground.
You have seen Grandpa, Justin. He never worked. He bartered.
Bartered.
Yeah, he bartered all the time.
For everything.
And you could look up the road and see Grandpa coming. He'd have 2 chairs over his shoulder, 2 buckets of eggs in his hand, and he'd be going down the road. If somebody said, "What you got in the bucket?" "Eggs." They bought some eggs, they traded him something, or they gave him 10 cents or whatever, you know. That's the way that he lived, as far as I know.
They might have traded him a chicken for eggs or a chicken for a chair, and he'd just hang the chicken over his shoulder on a rope.
And carry the eggs and the chairs too. He'd sell the chairs.
He walked a lot of times, and sometimes he rode when he had a mule or a horse.
Yeah, he'd ride a animal if he had one, but most of the time he didn't have one.
And coming up the branch to where we lived, where Pap's house was, you had to go up over a rise. And we could hear Grandpa coming before he got up where we could see him, because he'd go, whew, and you could hear him a long distance.
He didn't have any teeth, and it would come out in a big whistle thing, you know. Mom would say, "I hear Pap coming."
And that was Grandpa Case.
Yeah.
Grandpa Case. I never cared much for Grandpa Case.
We never
weren't around.
never had as much to do with Grandpa Case like we did and Granny, like we did Grandpa Meade and Granny.
I love Grandma Meade, but I'll tell you what, Pap Meade was a stingy old man.
Stingy, mean. He was a Church of Christ preacher, but he was stingy and mean.
He'd go out and pick up all the apples that fell off the apple tree into the road, so that us kids
And throw them back in the yard so we couldn't get them when we come from school.
And if we went down there on the porch, he might sit on the end of the porch and he'd say, "Poodler." We
was all Poodler.
Kids Poodler. I don't know what for. "Poodler, come over here." I'd go sit down, and Lord knows, you know, you didn't know what Pap was going to do, knock you off or what. He never did hit me, but he'd sit there and big old container of apples sitting there, you know, beautiful apples. And he'd peel and peel, and he'd cut you a little slice. And that's about all you'd get.
Yeah.
He was the stingiest. I didn't realize it at that time.
We thought it was Granny
old man.
using Pap for an excuse. She was telling the truth. It was Pap. When Granny died, we found out.
He was.
And he'd sit with his legs across this way and put us on, when we was little, on his feet, hold her hands, and he'd say, I don't know what he called it. "How far is it down to Little Rock?" "I don't know, but there's a big rock down there in my garden. Trot a rot a ranktum, trot a rot a ranktum, trot a rot a ranktum, trot," and he'd ride us on his foot.
And he had that.
How deep is the well? "I don't know, but if you drop a rock in, it'll go to the bottom." Trot a rot a ranktum. He'd go with all these little sayings and then sing to us.
He always told a little tale about Stromer, gray goose horn. Something about the girl, this pretty little girl, as sure she's born.
Yeah, but I can't remember his little
rhyme.
rhyme. I remember the Tararanctum and some of the sayings. How far is it? No, how deep is the water? How was that? That's one I've forgotten.
I can't remember it either, but he used to tell us the story about, is a little joke-like thing. what was it? And then awful, when you're little, it takes a long time to remember. Because you have to go through the years to remember what he said. But it was about the, shh, shh, listen, the old cat's pissing. Where? Under the chair. Run, get the gun. Oh, Shaw, the old cat's done. He'd tell that, and we thought that was the funniest thing ever was, because we weren't allowed to say bad words.
We weren't, nothing like that. But was a bad word for us. And he'd sing a little tune on Granny and her sister Martha. Old Aunt Martha. See now if I can remember. Old Aunt Martha shit on the floor, and old Aunt Rose pissed her clothes. Granny gets mad over that, and that's why I did it, because it'd make her mad.
This Rose or
Hmm?
this Rose or
No, Granny Rose.
Granny Rose.
Granny Rose.
She's named for both grandmothers. Mom's mommy was Polly Jane, and Granny Meade was Rosie Bell, and she named her Rosie Jane for both.